Welcome to episode number 38 of the GrowthArtic podcast. Today we talk about B2B, inbound marketing. So, what is B2B inbound marketing, my friend?
Yeah, it's B2B, so we're talking business to business. And inbound marketing, I think, seems to be something like we're doing something, but we're waiting for the people coming instead of making cold calls or cold emails or something, right?
It's actually the opposite of what we tell people to do. Do not sit at home and wait for people to call. But
nobody's waiting for you, but
there is a system to the madness, because both of us, we have been hardly doing any outbound marketing whatsoever. The Pirate Skills meetup is now 3 years old. We just had our meetup number 37. We did it every month, and it was all about funnel building. I do not remember one time me calling a customer, hey, do you want to buy my shit? It's always customers calling me, shut up and take my money. There is a system to this madness. There is also a limit to the scale of this, definitely. And we have talked about the limits of our scalability many times here on this podcast before.
Every day. It feels like every day.
And we would like to share just what we have been doing, so we can actually sit here and wait for the Facebook messages. For me, it's oftentimes Facebook messages coming in. Ben, can we call? And I'm telling them, let's have lunch. How does that work for you, man?
Yeah, so my business starts at the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
That means I'm doing a lot of presentations, more and more presentations and keynotes.
How many?
I would say one a week.
Yeah?
Yeah, something like a keynote or presentation for an offsite day or in a conference or something.
Okay, cool.
So it's getting more and more for keynotes, so that I try to think about, okay, what do I do? Keynotes or workshops? So for today I do both.
I do like two per month. One that I organize myself, and then one external.
Yeah. So there are presentations, there are some webinars. I think I should do more, or I could do more.
Yeah.
Because webinars is always a great thing for coaches and people with some expertise.
If we actually had a product to sell.
To just invite the people.
Yeah.
So webinars, then we do our podcasts, and in the last 2 or 3 months, because I have a team now, we are pushing out all the content we have. So all the content I had in my mind, now it's coming out with just small videos, 2 or 3 minute videos with just giving growth hacking tips.
I see it. I see it a lot now on LinkedIn, on Facebook, everywhere.
So our goal is to publish it 2 to 3 times a week, so that there's it is a continuous process now. And for sure I do some Google AdWords and some Facebook ads, but Facebook ads in my case only for selling my bootcamp tickets. So that's one of my favorite channels, is doing this kind of growth hacking bootcamps in different cities, where I do my your meetup here, where I do my own workshop, or where I host my own workshop in different
regionally in different cities across.
And the goal there is always the same. To get the people in the pipeline to at the top of the funnel, say, okay, you can download the slides here, or you can grab my 100 growth hacks here, and then there's something welcome to the system.
So they then end up in the HubSpot, and from there you can qualify them.
Yeah, exactly. They land with an email in HubSpot, and then there starts something like an email automation thing, because we are talking about B2B. And in my case, I'm selling trainings and company workshops. So the end of the funnel is always having a phone call to discuss where is your special need and blah, 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 blah.
So again, you hear the concept of a funnel essentially giving presentations, sharing really valuable content for your target group, showing them that you understand their problems, and sharing your best practices to solve those problems. Then you invite them to take the next step. Small commitment after small commitment increases the probability that you get in touch with them. And I think we both have the tendency, once we work personally with the people, they see that there's a lot more under the water.
There's value
of the iceberg. When you see us on stage, we have to talk about the simple stuff. And as soon as you let us loose on your real case, it's not a hard sell anymore. So I think that's essentially already the essence. Sharing good value publicly as possible.
I think that's the most important thing, because there are a lot of questions coming up all the time. Okay, so you're old, you're experienced, you have a brand already and something. Where could I start? And my answer is always just take your expertise, whatever it is, and start pushing out some content on your marketing channels. Depends on for sure on your target group. It could be LinkedIn, could be Instagram, could be Facebook, whatever. But it is this old give, ask thing. Yes, it is. First, give to tell everybody that you are an expert in your field, and if you do this with good quality, and good quality in my case doesn't mean that the video and audio setup has to be perfect. For me, it's much more important to give you real value, and continuously, but not just once. Continuously, that's important.
And keeping your mindset really moving forward. This whole process is as easy as staying in shape, and also just as hard as staying in shape.
Good example.
We all know what we need to do, but actually taking the time in the week to create the content, to have somebody help you or do it yourself, to split it up, share it every day with the audience, and building that trustful relationship. That is the heart of inbound marketing to me. For me, I have an extra wish, an extra layer on top of that. I try to make my content marketing in a way that 6 months later, I can look back at a body of work that I'm proud of. And for example, if you search my name, Ben Zofiani, on SlideShare, you will see 12, 18 complete presentations of all the talks I have done that you can just look at and download. But that has become like a body of work. If somebody just sees my current presentation, checks it out on LinkedIn and sees, bang, there are 17 other presentations there full of value, it immediately increases the perceived value, and the status, your expert status. So just going for the social media content is not enough anymore for me. It's really creating this body of work. So I've decided, first of all, to publish everything, and to make it accessible as cheap as possible, most of the time for free. So I've hooked up this teachable learn management system like WordPress for that, and you can just log in there and see structured all the slides and the video recordings, and it becomes bigger and more valuable every single month. And I really like that.
That's pretty cool. So I would just go on to one point. So you say to make it accessible. So in my case, and what I see and a lot of customers or people that ask is, first step is to think about what could be interesting content for your target group. Then to produce it, and not just once, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then you come to this kind of rhythm to find a process. And so we are at a point now, maybe the same for our podcast. So this is episode number 38 already. So I would say we are getting comfortable in our process, how to do it, what we talk about, how we talk about, and so on and so on. But what I see a lot of times, the next step is not just to push it out, to make it accessible to everybody. So to say, okay, what can we do that the whole target group will see our beautiful content.
Yes.
That's the next step. And that's something I'm facing a lot of times for my own business, where I say we make a great video where I say, wow, that's great. Our own video, I think, wow, that's awesome. That's GrowthArtic. Yeah. Sorry. That's GrowthArtic. But there are 50 likes.
Yeah.
It's okay. Honestly, we are growth hackers, growth marketers.
There should be 50,000.
There should be, maybe for a B2B niche target group, maybe there should be 500 or 5,000. But that's something what is the next step in my eyes, where I say, okay, producing the right content, and all the people say, yeah, that's great, cool, nice stuff. Yeah. Can I go to your online course, or I come to your bootcamp, whatever. But in the end, to maximize the reach of your content, that in my eyes is the real Champions League case. And that's so important, and that's something what is even harder than just producing the content. But please start with producing the content, and then if you have proven that it is good, then you can do the next step. That's something what I think is really, really important.
And we might talk about that in the next episode when we talk about execution struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think we sometimes have a bit of an execution struggle here. And
sure.
I like the excuses come to my mind like that. It's amazing. What I wanted to say, like once you've gotten into the habit of execution, it's important to find a content publishing rhythm. For the inbound marketing to work. For me, I've simply defined the topic of the day of the week. Monday, for example, was for a long time for us Newsletter Monday, where we pitched a podcast. Wednesday was always about the meetup. Friday is about something else. Sunday is fun content. So finding your weekly rhythm, so you don't have to think so hard about what to write today. Yeah, you can always write something else, but with the same theme, kind of, and that helped me a lot to get more constructive.
That's really interesting. So that's something what my team is asking for. Can we have something like this kind of weekly template where I say yes, if it helps, then here it is. But for me, so I would say I'm a bad guy in this case, where I say I need this kind of flexibility. Where I say, okay, if I have this idea in my mind now, and it's Thursday, and Thursday is maybe not the joking day, I want to do it. And that's something what is really challenging for me, because what is really helpful for me is that today with the team, if I have this idea now, I can stand up, say, okay, turn the camera on, and then we record the video, and 5 minutes later it's done. Then it goes to the editing thing, and 1 hour later it's there. That's something I love, and that's something they hate.
Yeah,
and I don't care.
I would hate it. I would hate it too.
I don't care.
I would say I would love it if we had a 2-week pipeline of content already set up in the pipeline. And whenever I have a fucking brilliant idea, or that I think I have a brilliant idea, I can just record it, and it goes into the pipeline for day number 15. Yeah. That's what I
That's really
like.
Interesting that we're different in this case.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like the real life, on time, zeitgeist thing. It has something to it.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, you just add that content.
To
the normal flow. Just have.
But I can't wait. I'm so curious.
Then why don't you just publish it then? In addition to the other thing.
Yeah, we do. That's what we do. But for instance, so one of my teammates saying, okay, we have to work on your Instagram profile. So your profile. So for conversion, I never have thought before about Instagram conversion of my profile.
No?
No. Instagram is for me just fun.
There is no fun.
That is fun. That's Thursday. So I said, okay, we have to do it like this with beautiful pictures. And then I said, okay, but today I want to post this bootcamp selfie.
Yeah.
Because yesterday was the bootcamp in Zurich, and I want to post it. And then I had to ask him, am I allowed to post it just because of the structure, how the images are organized on my Instagram profile? And he said, no, you have to wait. Now we have to publish 2 more. And I said, okay, I don't get this point. So, and then, you're laughing about this, but that was a real case. And I got his point that
yeah.
if the people come to my Instagram profile and if they see that it's really clear and organized and that I'm pushing out content, for sure it would convert better. Where I say, but don't limit myself in my creativity. That's something what is really hard for me. In the end, I think we found a really great solution.
That's cool.
But that's interesting.
Yeah, we're very different that way. One thing that we have in common again, I think, that we kind of found our way to call people to action once they have seen the content. Because just posting fun stuff that gives value on the internet is not the whole game. It's called give, ask. I see lots of people just creating great content and never asking for anything in return. And if you believe in your business and that you have value to your customer, you kind of should feel this obligation to also offer them the next logical step. So in B2B inbound marketing, do the great blogs, do the great videos, but then have something to offer if they want to. And be very clear about what you offer. The first year, people were asking like, Ben, how can I actually work with you? Do you have a company?
What do you do? What do you offer? Do you make workshops or just a meetup?
And then as soon as I started to offer the workshop,
how do you earn money if you do free meetups?
Yes, that's what I hear all the time. Or like, how do we convert this podcast? We are not like the Baulig brothers who, at the beginning and at the end of every podcast, they say like, now go to that and that URL and you can make a cool appointment with us.
Maybe we should start with this.
Yes, or not.
Or no, I would say no.
You will find us on b@growthartic.com.
And B means BE.
BE.
I'm always struggling with this thing.
But
B could be bad.
I also redirected the B to the BE at growthartic.com. So make sure you have a good follow-up, and that you have somebody or do it for yourself who, if people are interested, actually gives them in a reasonable time an offer that they can commit to. And that is where I struggle, especially in times like now when I feel booked, like for the next 6 to 8 weeks. I couldn't give you an appointment that lasts half a day, but still being professional, following up, doing that stuff. How do you solve that?
So that's one of my, I would say that is one of the major success points of my business, that from the beginning on I have a really clear process. So not just pushing out the content or doing a presentation and maybe knowing what to offer or what to sell, but there's a process in between. And I would say that the typical B2B process is, so for us maybe it's really easy because we are working with this many years now, but it's in the first sense, you do some content, for instance, or do a presentation or a webinar, then you need a clear website. If it is a website or a landing page, whatever, where it's really clear what I want from you, with a really clear call to action, with a freebie, something, could be whatever, download slides here, come to my online course, here, get a free consultation for 30 minutes, here, what the fuck, whatever it is. And then the funnel starts, having maybe start with one email sequence, thank you for downloading my slides, have fun, please think of this or this. 2 or 3 days later, you have to test this, what is the best time. Maybe in the next email sequence, so did you have the chance to have a look at it? If not, here is it again, and so on and so on. And then in the end, asking for the real call to action now, whatever it is. In my case, it's something like a free telephone call. Let's have a look how we can deep dive into your growth strategy, whatever it is. And in the end, asking for testimonials. So I would say having reviews, testimonials, and so on, it's really common for everybody, but in more than 50% of my customers who are working in B2B, they are not collecting testimonials and reviews. And if they do, they don't use it everywhere. You can't find it on the top of their website, and not just 1,000 reviews or something. It means the real testimonials. Everybody in B2B is asking for, can you give me a reference? Have you worked with somebody like me? Have you worked with insurances before? Have you worked with banks before? Have you worked with companies from Switzerland before? Yes, I have, but nobody knows. So show them the real testimonials.
Yeah.
That's so important. But you have to ask for. Nobody will give you a review or testimonial without asking them.
Yeah.
And that's my really easy process. Independent, if you take HubSpot or Pipedrive or Excel, start anywhere, but have a clear process. That's really, really important.
And then execute like a motherfucker on what you promised
right.
to deliver, because that's the last loop of the inbound marketing funnel. That is, if you do a good job, you are bound to get referrals. Yeah. Yeah. Beside the meetup, I would say the referrals from current customer is by far my biggest source of new accounts, and that way we can afford to sit here and wait for the messages and the phone calls to come in. That of course has the limit. If we had a product to sell, like let's assume an online course, whatever that is, then there could not be enough inbound requests, because it's not your time for money. And then I would be much more willing to be more outbound. Yeah. So if you have a scalable product, don't just sit on the inbound. Go for the outbound just as well. But if you're limited, build up your systems. It's like SEO traffic. It feels so good. The whole conversation with the customer in the beginning is so much easier when they came to you. Yeah. And yeah, I hope that you guys could take away something from that. Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, this is an important point, but maybe that could be in
another special episode.
Single episode, because this one is, in my eyes, so huge, but we don't tell you what it is now.
Okay, maybe that's episode number 39.
39, should be, yeah.
We are such teasers. Okay, guys, then check us out on GrowthArtic.com, where you can find all the links to the YouTube, the Spotify's, and the iTunes in the world. And we hope you leave us a good review and write us some feedback. Cool. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.